Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Let's get into this. This is R&B Divas LA. It's season 3, and this is actually episode 3. I'm going to start by being very, very honest. I've been watching the R&B Divas whole franchise ever since it started. I've done Atlanta, I've done LA. I've been there from the beginning. I have to say, tonight, this episode is the first time that I ever actually wanted to turn the show off. And I'm being very, very honest. I was ready about halfway through to literally turn this off. It was just, I said, you all are doing way, way too much. You're getting on my nerves real bad. We got 2 stadiums in Pittsburgh. Go down there and pick a seat in one of them and sit the fuck down. It was just ridiculous. First of all, we start right off with Michaela and her therapist and all of that, and we're seeing that she's doing really well with her therapy, and that's fine. You know, we got her out of the suicide watch area, and I'm loving that. But now we're on to this other thing of her. You want to push her into companionship. What is that? What is that? That push into, because when the therapist brought it up, I was just like, why is that necessary? You know, when it's time for her to do that, I figure she'll do that. We're talking about a year. It's been a year. This girl was ready to slit her wrist and be done, honey. And now, okay, she's doing a little better. She's learned. She's still just learning about loving herself and the fact that her daughter is really the reason for the season, baby. You don't need nothing else. You got the daughter you need to live for, but she need to learn, you know, she got to live for herself as well. But you got the daughter, baby. That's constant. That's constant. You got to take care of that, baby. You ain't got another choice. Okay, so she's still coming through that. Now you want to throw a man into the mix. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then they moved on, and then we have this whole sit down with little Mo. I wanted to wring Mo's funny looking neck. She went into this thing about this man, and she went on and on and on. And I mean, and she dug and she pried and she dug and she pried, all the way to the point to where now Michelle is in tears. Did I miss something? She's literally in tears. And I'm saying, we went from how the girl's happy to now you're telling her, no, your life's not complete. You need a man. Stop. Since when do you need a man to make you complete? You don't need nobody to make you complete. Nobody. You came in the world alone. You're going to leave out of the world alone. You can't even pay a motherfucker to leave out of the world with you when you go. It is you. A person does not it doesn't complete you. And as a matter of fact, a lot of times another person just confuses the fucking situation. I can say that because I am actually there. My feelings are the same as what Michelle is saying. I don't need an extra person. You know, I came to that realization a long time ago. I don't need an extra person. I'm not one of those people who were made that has to have a mate. There are people who feel like they cannot be by themselves. They always get themselves into trouble. Little Mo is the last bitch to be telling somebody about the need to be with somebody. Bitch, all last season, you were miserable. You were miserable because you were married to the guy with the dirty t-shirt. Miserable. Your kids were miserable. You didn't know it. You cried all motherfucking season, last season. And now you giving advice. So another bitch should cry. Well, she ain't the right bitch for you to be giving advice to, because Miss Soleil, a year, she's just really just out of the woods of ready to cash her fucking chips in and leave the casino. So no, you don't need to be having that conversation. And that thing upset me so bad. It really did. And how she kept on prying and, you know, well, what about when we're not here and this, that, thing, and the other. And all I'm hearing really is, girl, don't your pussy get hot. You know, that was like the main concern, it seemed like, with Mo. Because that's a lot of what her issue is. She's one of those people that feel like she needs to be with somebody. And I think it's her age. You know, a lot of it's her age. And I believe Mo got a real hot button on her pussy that she can't control. So she feels, you know, the need to be with somebody. But like 3 marriages, I think it's 3 marriages, and literally, you're not my age. Really? That's fine. I'm not knocking you for it, but you ain't at the point to give nobody no advice. So I'm just saying, you can be mad if you want. It is what it is. You ain't the bitch to give advice on marriage and love. Sorry. Anyway, but I didn't like that. That really bothered me. I didn't like even seeing her go down that road. You know what I mean? It got on my nerves real bad, and I was ready to turn this shit off. You know, and I honestly believe that adding a man into the mix with Michaela right now would have that girl, if it's the wrong man, it'll have that girl floating down the Mississippi. Okay? And that's just my feelings on it. Anyway, moving on. We go past that, and we see Lem and Chrisette. And he was working on something, and the little track, it sounds nice. It really did. He has a nice little sound. I think he would work real well under her label. I really do. We see that. And then she went to him and talked to him about maybe introducing a life coach into what they have going on. And he was like very receptive to it, and she was surprised. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, so we got Michaela with her emotional problems. Now we got Lem, and he has emotional problems. Then we go right out of that storyline and we go into Leela and her girlfriend, and she has breast cancer. And I'm saying, wait a minute, wait. This is too much. This is too much. This is the first 30 minutes of this program. Y'all done brought my goddamn mood down to an all-time low. This ain't what I watched this program for, baby. This is real life. It's not a dramatic series that somebody wrote. That's just too much. All thrown at you in the first half hour of a reality show. What were we actually going after? What were we going after? It was quite depressing. And I was glad that we did get to meet T. She's a cute little thing. She's Leela's friend, and she's struggling with breast cancer. Leela decided she wanted to have a party for her. So I don't know, maybe just the way it was placed or where they put that into the series, it just seemed like a whole lot of heaviness for me in the first 30 minutes, and I was really ready to check out. But anyway, I stayed. Then we went right into the messiness. Then we have Little Mo, who she's talking to Brave. She's talking in circles. Brave ain't feeling it at all because, again, just like me, she's like, I don't do that. I don't have time for, well, this is what was said, but you're not going to tell me who said it and all that. I don't have time for that. I'm too fucking old. I'm too fucking impatient. Who the fuck said it? What did they say? And let's nip it or leave it alone or whatever we're going to do. But all that talking in circles, ain't nobody got no time for that. Ain't nobody got no time for that. And the whole thing was, she was saying, you know, when I'm not around, I'm just try not to have like a vibe of being bougie or petty. Well, I didn't get either of those things from Brave. I don't think she's bougie and I don't think she's petty. What the problem is, she's pretty. She's pretty. And that seems like what the problem is. Shantae even made a comment during one of her confessionals. She says, yeah, she's built real nice. She sings and she's a pretty girl. Yes, she's hateable. So really, you old bitches, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. The treatment of her has been less than stellar. And she's only been on the fucking program for 2 weeks. So that's bothering me from the door. And again, here we go with Mo. I'm trying to take it easy on Mo. And I always have. I like Little Mo. And I've taken it easy on her. But Little Mo, bitch, you talk out of both sides of your face. You know, you really do. You talk out of both sides of your face. And you do play devil's advocate a lot of times. I don't like it. I really the fuck don't. But anyway, moving forward. Brave goes to see Shantae because really, whenever she was there with Lil Mo was shading Shantae on the slide. You know, don't be another Shantae, this, that, thing, and the other. Now, I already told y'all we giving Shantae another chance. Shantae ain't did nothing so far. Brave went to see Shantae. Shantae basically ain't getting into shit. Told her it could get ugly. Shit could get real fast. Just, you know, don't worry about it. Just be you. And if you're being you, nobody can complain about you being you. And it was good advice. It really was. She didn't go into none of that old shit. She didn't even entertain it. Little Mo, that bitch had her horns on, okay? But whatever. So next we got Lil Mo and Michaela. They plan out this double date now for her to go out with the father-in-law and all this here when he gets to town. And Michaela, I was like, damn, Michaela, she got to this whole thing where she was like, oh yeah, well, let me pick out some of this and pick out some of that. She sounded like, okay, well, I'm fucking him when he get here. Baby, I'm going to bust it open and stretch it out wide. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay. Well, all right, she had seen a picture of him on Instagram. But, like, really, I mean, you ain't had no conversation. And her conversation with Mo was like I said, she was going to lay it wide open, baby, lips to the floor. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, girl, whatever. So, ended up, they go out on a date. Michaela stood him up. She stood him up, and we're going to go into that more on the next episode. And Mo was like really, really pissed, and she was really doing too much. She was doing too much. She was so turned up, and she'll make me get her. But anyway, she's really out there. Oh, this could end our friendship and all that. Girl, listen. All that ain't necessary. Ain't gonna be no spinoff show from this, so you can chill out. Like, seriously, just chill on out. Ain't gonna be no spinoff, boo. Go ahead and get what you can get out of this, and don't aggravate the fuck out of me on here. Lord, anyway. Next, we got Lem, Chrissy, and the life coach. We meet up with the life coach. At this point, I'm not liking Lem very much. I'm looking at Lem. Lem got a lot of shit with him. I don't know just how bipolar he is or at what extreme his bipolarity is, but he got a lot of just regular old issues. That's a bunch of bullshit as far as I'm concerned. When he sat there and said the size of Chrisette's eyelashes makes him feel as though she's snotty. Listen here, little chocolate drop. I'm going to need you to stop that. That's your sister, and you know her. Chrissy is snotty. She's snotty because she's a very artistic person. She is a very deep person. She has a whole lot of talents. So along with that, sometimes you're a little snotty. And it don't have shit to do with your bipolarity. That's your sister. That's who she is. It is what it is. You don't hate anybody for who they are, especially when it's your family member. She is who she is. She ain't trying to be nobody new and different. We picked that up on what Chris said. I think it's part of her charm. It makes me laugh when she said, like, and I'm going to go back to last season when she told Shantae Moore, I've never sang backup, honey. That's Chrisette. Yes, that's snotty. Funny to the motherfucker. And it is what it is. I didn't have a problem with it. Maybe I'm snotty too. But, you know, in my life, I've always been the Diana Ross of the group too. I ain't never been one to want to sing backup for a bitch. You know? That ain't my thing. I always want to be up front. So, if that makes you snotty, then fuck it, we're snotty. But that's who Chris is. And he ain't just met her. And all that bullshit about her eyelashes, I was like, this is somebody playing. Somebody playing. I ain't care for that. And what I'm getting, it's always this thing about the music and the company and her working with. It seems to be like what we're going to have is a situation where Lem wants Chrisette to chase after him and kiss his ass. I ain't a fan. God bless him. I hope this works out real well. But if that's the type of thing that's going to be going on between Chrisette and Lem, it's not going to leave me liking Lem very much. It really isn't. I can tell you now. But this whole thing was on my nerves. At this point, I was like, I'm getting ready to go and grab me a ginger ale out of my refrigerator, and I'm going on upstairs. I'm not going to be subject to this bullshit. Very first time during the whole franchise that I wanted to, and they've been messy. You know, and other shit is going on. I've never wanted to turn it off. I wanted to literally turn it off. But I sat, and then the party for T came up, and they got me back. Then I got my divas the way that I'm used to seeing my divas. They were singing, and they were doing what it is that I fell in love with them all for. And I was like, okay, y'all got me. Here we go. Let's hook, line, and sinker. Let's go ahead and do what it is that we do. Fuck all that old bullshit. Again, though, they started with Brave. Brave was saying, you know, she doesn't really like to do impromptu singing. She was in a girl group. She's used to rehearsing and that kind of thing. And, of course, you know, they were rolling their eyes and giving her the side eye. Which, yeah, Brave, sit down. Sit down. If you can sing, you can sing. It don't make no difference, baby. It could be Sunday, Tuesday. It could be during devotional, or it could be whore hour. If you can sing, baby. You're going to be okay, okay? You're going to be fine. They ain't going to leave you hanging. They don't want you to sound a mess up there with them. Trust me. They got you. Let's see. Then they started talking about breast cancer. Lil Mo was saying, you know, that her sister had a little scare. Her sister felt a lump in her breast. They were like, oh, wow. And then, you know, Brave started sharing about her sister and when she went through breast cancer. And, baby, they were literally looking like, yeah, and okay, girl, anyway. I don't like what they're giving her at all. I don't know what the problem is, but I really don't get that they really care for her very much. And the child hasn't done anything. She really hasn't. They need to stop. Anyway, Michaela ended up having to leave to go get her daughter again. Whatever. Naturally, you know, Mo built onto that because that had something to do with her bullshit because she's already mad at Michaela. And we'll go into that again. That's going to continue in the next episode. But anyway, Leela hits the stage. She has T come up. She had a cute little jumpsuit on and had her sit down. And the place was packed out. And it was like this little impromptu concert. It was really, really cute. It was unscripted, you know, and it was just cool. It was like a jam session. All for T's birthday. It was like a belated birthday present. And everybody was there for her. She was really just as happy. And it was cool with me. It got me right there. And I was like, all right. So by the time Leela started singing that Say That You Want Me, I was done with everything. When I was ready to turn it off, it had smoothed me over like a little kid with a sucker. Somebody gave me a sucker or a popsicle or something, honey. And I was just as happy. And she sang. Then all the divas came up, except for Michaela, because she had left. Because the babysitter said she had to be back at 10:30. I don't know where she got that babysitter from. But anyway, and they sang That's What Friends Are For. And it was really, really nice. And it took me back to why I fell in love with the show and the franchise in the first place. So it ended well, but it was really a rocky road for me this episode. It was a rough one for me, but it really did end well. I loved the party that Leela gave for T. I thought it was very nice, and that girl did really have a fabulous time, it seemed, at that party, and that was thumbs up for goddamn Leela. I enjoyed that. It was cool. It was really, really cool. But that's it, guys. That's what went on in this episode. So here we go. You can thumbs up or thumbs down the video. You guys know how that works, and we will be here next Wednesday, and let's do this all over again, and hopefully they can straighten out some of that stuff that had me pissed off in the first part, because I really don't want to be soapboxing, because I really do like these ladies. But they better leave that goddamn Brave alone. Now, I'm tired of saying that now. Y'all better leave Brave alone. Y'all better cut it out. All right, y'all. See you next Wednesday. Bye for now, guys. Bye-bye.